Hello friends, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, Football Therapy, with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, friend. I really, genuinely, wholeheartedly do hope that. And welcome back to Chelsea News, of course, the daily series here on this channel, where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it, but more importantly, asking for yours. Today we'll talk a little bit about Jude Bellingham, a potential recall for Callum HudsonAdoi because Graham Potter loves him. Christoph Freund, what happened? It was a 24-hour turnaround, was agreed with Chelsea, and some slightly unsavoury news regarding a dismissal at Chelsea Football Club. Settle in, get comfortable for this video. Thank you for all you troopers out there that liked the last video. Many of you will forget to like, or you're slacking, and you started liking the video again. So thank you for dropping that like now. You are welcome to subscribe, and should you choose to do so, hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Yeah. A deep one. Ladies and gentlemen, this video is brought to you by SPITCH. SPITCH is the greatest fantasy football in town because it utilizes an OptaStats engine which actually rewards you and gives you appropriate points for knowing about football and not just getting lucky with the odd clean sheet and assist or whatever when a player doesn't play well. Not only that, you don't have to commit for a whole season. You can just dip in and out of a game week when you so fancy it on SPITCH. It is free to use, though it's 18 plus, because you can also wager some peas on it and win money by beating managers from across the globe. Do check out SPITCH by clicking the link in the top of the description and having fun. Have fun. Alright then. Let's get into it. So, I have been jovial and upbeat, but today we do start with some unsavory news. Many of you would have seen in the headlines, Catalina Kim has received some unpleasant texts from a Chelsea employee. Spoiler, he's a sex pest. This has hit the news, Matt Law's reported on it, we'll be dipping into his article in just a moment. I will also put the link to that down in the description for your consideration of reading. But of course, this is no laughing matter. We will talk about players, Bellingham, HudsonAdoi, etc. in just a moment, but let's get through this story first. Damien Willoughby, Chelsea's commercial director, sent Catalina Kim, a football finance agent, late-night messages asking if she was naked and offering to introduce her to Manchester City chief executive Ferran Soriano if she promised to, quote, be naughty one night, end quote. The message resulted in Willoughby being sacked by Chelsea. In the 8 screenshots that Kim sent to Chelsea's president of business, Tom Glick, Willoughby repeatedly made sexual references in messages despite being knocked back on each occasion. It was on the 30th of June last year that Kim asked Willoughby, while he was working for City Football Group, about the possibility of approaching Soriano on her behalf. Willoughby replied, quote, when you come to London, will you be naughty? Kim said no. But when she asked again, she was met with the same response. Trying to move the conversation on, Kim raised the prospect of approaching Soriano, but after saying, happy to connect you, Willoughby added in the message, if you promise to be naughty one night. I mean, absolutely filth. Horrible sex pest nonsense. These people are everywhere in life, sadly, at every level of business and whatever respective industry. And how, mate, like, just gross. These quotes go on. I'm not actually going to read them because they're pretty unpleasant. If you are interested in this story, you can click the link down in the description. It is relevant because it's a headline and it's a commercial director newly appointed at Chelsea. It's an unfortunate and negative story for the new ownership group. Obviously, it's good that they sacked him, and I mean, the head of business, Tom Glick, obviously received some of these screenshots and did the right and immediate and appropriate thing and canned the pest. Obviously, he's gonna have his career massively affected now, and he's pretty much earned that through just horrendous harassment. Like I said, if you're interested, feel free to read the article. But let's move on and talk about more footballing matters. I did just want to cover it because I I do react to the headlines relevant to Chelsea. This is a headline relevant to Chelsea, sadly. But let's move on from that and talk about more positive or interesting footballing stuff. First off, Christoph Freund. Of course, this was a big 180. It looked like he was nailed on to be the new Chelsea sporting director. The following quote is from transfer guru Fabrizio Romano, giving you a lowdown of what happened. A deal between Freund and Chelsea was 100% agreed on Sunday afternoon. It was an incredible situation that changed in just 24 hours, so it's a big blow. Chelsea are already in contact with other candidates, more than just one, and the race is open. On his YouTube channel, Fabrizio Romano goes on to explain in a little bit more detail how it was agreed with Chelsea for him to join as the sporting director, and Red Bull weren't happy about it and sort of just basically quite aggressively conversed with him to get him to stay. Obviously, he is under contract for 4 years. Maybe he could have still walked away, but he probably wasn't comfortable with it, with their stance. You know, perhaps not the blessing that was originally reported, given to him to join Chelsea. But the story remains, like we reacted to here accordingly on the channel, the deal was 100% agreed. On the Chelsea side, that is. Right, let's move on and talk about Callum HudsonAdoi. Of course, HudsonAdoi is enjoying a loan at Bayer Leverkusen at the moment, of which he got a glowing recommendation from Kai Havertz. Of course, we bought Havertz from Leverkusen. HudsonAdoi has gone over there to join an exciting front three and sometimes play in a number 10 position behind a striker. Of course, we referenced his really positive performance in the Champions League against Atletico Madrid, and a lot of people are getting excited about Callum HudsonAdoi again, and indeed this loan opportunity. Though Sport Bild are now reporting that he could already be recalled in January, which beggars belief, really. I mean, it is true, Graham Potter has been interested in Callum HudsonAdoi for a while, and indeed was interested in bringing Cho to Brighton. Possibly originally, Graham Potter was hoping a deal could be done with the Cucurella deal, maybe like, what we did with Levi Colwill. Maybe they would have taken HudsonAdoi on loan instead, but he obviously went off to the Bundesliga to try and emulate, what Jadon Sancho's done, and, Musiala and all these other young guys that are doing really well out there, these young attackers. But Sport Bild are reporting that because Graham Potter likes him so much, that he could be considering a loan recall in January, which I'm sure Bayer Leverkusen won't be very happy about at all. And to be honest, maybe not Callum HudsonAdoi. He might like the idea of being wanted and starting back at the Bridge, but to be honest, I feel like a full season, just go and do this loan. This is the first loan he's done. All the other youngsters have done successful loans. Well, some of them have done successful loans. Certainly, like your Mason Mounts and your Reece James and your Conor Gallaghers. They all had successful loans that have put them in good stead. He was given too much hype too early, HudsonAdoi. He's an amazing player in terms of a talent, but I think this would do him the world of good going to play for Bayer Leverkusen and just being in a different league, learning different tactics, playing in a different position. I think it would be silly to recall him in January, though if we do, he has to be promised minutes. And of course, your likes of Hakim Ziyech and Christian Pulisic, who's releasing books and, sort of throwing shade at Thomas Tuchel at the moment, they're not happy as it is. You can imagine they won't be happy Callum HudsonAdoi being recalled to start over them. Comment down below, let me know what you think. Do you think we should recall Callum HudsonAdoi? Do you think he'll make it at Chelsea? I've always respected his immense talent, but this is the kind of thing I thought that would have been important for his development. So let me know what you think. Some of you guys might think, yeah, he looks great, we could do with that. Potter can coach him, bring him back in January. Who knows? Tell me in the comments. Alright, let's move on and talk about Jude Bellingham. Of course, one of the superstars in world football, such a young player still, yet so talented. Chelsea apparently did try and buy Jude Bellingham, along with a host of other Premier League clubs, prior to him moving to Dortmund. Of course, he was only 16 years old when he left Championship club Birmingham, and he went for a big fee, and they ended up retiring the shirt. Which sounds crazy for a 16-year-old, but I think apparently the way his transfer worked, he actually generated a lot of money for Birmingham, his boyhood club, and he offered them this kind of financial support by doing this particular transfer, I believe I heard once. So therefore they, sort of respected and realised what he did, and therefore retired the shirt. I believe that's the story. Still, Dortmund got their lad. They seem to know a young talent when they see one, especially a young English one. They saw it with Jadon Sancho playing in the academy at Man City, and of course they saw in a Championship 16-year-old and Jude Bellingham. For me, he should absolutely be starting for England, maybe next to Declan Rice, and maybe like a two-man midfield. midfield, but he can score goals, he can defend, he's like quite tall, he just looks really, really like graceful as well as quite tough. I love Jude Bellingham, and of course, something that we've been speaking about recently on yesterday's video, I believe, Chelsea are looking to rebuild their midfield. We've got the likes of Chukwuemeka and Cassidy, and there's some other, of course, young Chelsea midfielders on the books, and we might be saying goodbye to, who knows, both N'Golo Kante and Jorginho. Of course, if you haven't seen yesterday's video, I'd urge you guys to go check it out and have a watch. Chelsea reportedly still interested in Jude Bellingham alongside every other big team in the world, including, you know, the big Premier League teams. Man United and Liverpool are very, very interested indeed. Liverpool are probably the most desperate team for him. They need to revitalise their midfield big time, and it'd probably quite suit Anfield and Klopp ball, I reckon. But I'm an England and Chelsea fan, so I want this super English talent to come to Chelsea. Plus, he's a cultured superstar talent. Many people want Jude Bellingham, but apparently the price will cost, though he has no release clause, would be 150 million euros. Now, it doesn't surprise me that they're talking silly money off the bat to try and scare people away. They did it with Jadon Sancho. How much did they sell Jadon Sancho in the end for? I think it was like 75 million. And Jadon Sancho had the goals and the assists, and that's what cost the money. The money? That's what costs the money. So you guys should chill out on a midfielder a little bit. I know he's a special talent, but that is just silly money. I genuinely think he will be sold in the summer, but it's going to go to whoever pays the crazy money. If Chelsea do go back in for Alvarez in January, I do genuinely think Chelsea will buy a CDM in January. Then probably we won't be looking to spend 150 million euros on Jude Bellingham the following transfer window in the summer. But then again, who knows? Because our ownership is pretty gung-ho with transfers, and they're throwing their weight around all over the gaff. I hope they know what they're doing financial fair play-wise. But look, man, if somehow Jude Bellingham rocks up at Chelsea, I'll be a very happy boy. But what do you guys think? I'll put it out to you, man. Please do comment down in the comment section below, because that's where you do it. Talk to me about the footballers. Callum HudsonAdoi, what do you think about him? Jude Bellingham, sporting director. Express your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. I've seen some great comments down there recently. I've been floating around, seeing what you man have to say. So please do support that thing by like and commenting. Thank you to all the new subscribers, and I look forward to seeing you guys very, very soon back here on the channel, Football Therapy. See you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.